What's going on, Cancer? I salute the divinity in you, and welcome to the Chariot and Friends. Justin here, and how you feeling? You feeling intuitive? You sense that? The moon's in Pisces, and we're getting ready to get into that new moon in Pisces. We have a lot of just Pisces energy in general. This portion of your chart, wherever you happen to have Pisces, whatever house this is, get eyes on that, or houses. If you happen to use like Placidus, maybe you got Pisces spread over a couple of houses. See what's going on in that Pisces section, because that's getting a lot of attention during this lunar cycle. And this is going to be the lunar cycle where we have our first eclipse, which is going to be a total lunar eclipse in Virgo. That's going to be happening. So a lot of energies that are building up right now. This is the time to be trying new things. I'm going to try a new thing today. So got a lot to talk about here in this episode. But before we get into that, if you're new here, know that when you're coming across this video, you're in sync with the moon, and she loves that. But this is also a place for you if you happen to have Cancer in your placements, sun, moon, rising, maybe Jupiter, wherever. This one's for you. Or if you just want to kick it with Cancer, see what shenanigans we're going to be up to, because there's going to be a bunch of them. It's a good old time. And I do tarot card spreads based on that lovely luminary, the good old moon. Like I said, we're sensing her out, so she's somewhere over here. And I'll talk about what sign she's in, what phase she's in, when she's going, but of course, all the lunar shenanigans. It's shenanigans aplenty. I just love that word. And just so you're all aware, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one. So take what fits into your story, discard the rest, and everything will be dope, Cancer. Now, oh, look at that. All kinds of thumbs up. Let's jump into it. we got affirmations from Spirit. good energy here, Cancer. But before we get into your general energy of the day, which I'm really stoked. But before we get into that, I'll just explain why all this optimism's here, because depending on when you're watching this, happy Jupiter Day. Jupiter is associated with Thursdays, and I do find that, especially on a Jupiter Day, that we should do this every day, but really taking a moment to just be grateful for where you're at on your journey, what's going on in your life. I'm not talking about all the maybe challenges that are going on. What are the positive things that are going on? What gets you up each day? What keeps you hopeful? Because Jupiter covers, some of the aspects you think about, just abundance and things, but Jupiter does bring a faith that you need to have when you're coming on this journey. The faith in something bigger than yourself, the thing that is guiding you through this journey, the type of stuff that we feel when we're in the energies of Pisces, or in those kind of water elements. And I do find that Jupiter days are a great time, too, to just expand your worldview, whether this is learning new things, or this could be even teaching things to people. Maybe and this doesn't have to be in just like a formal class setting. Maybe you're just meeting up with some friends, talking about some new things that you've been learning, exploring some new stuff, whatever that might be looking like, philosophizing. I think that'd be a great way of working with Jupiter energy. And you know what, while we're on the terms of kind of in this Pisces energy, this mystical energy here, I've been doing these little Orphic hymns. It's a really kind of nice practice I like to do, called the planetary kind of deity for the day. I do it during like today I did one for Jupiter Day during Jupiter hour, and it was the Orphic hymn to Zeus. And there's just something there with that. Just kind of explore that if that's something that resonates with you. But that book was the Orphic Hymns by Patrick Dunn. And there's another version that I'm going to be getting of that as well. But Jupiter stuff. But also another thing that I like to do on these days are just to kind of reflect on, what is my relationship with Jupiter? How do I pay attention to what have been some big sort of like Jupiter? I've had some pretty notable Jupiter transits when Big Papa's doing some stuff, and especially in around my ascendant. I have Jupiter there natally. So yeah, that's another thing too. Like, where do you have Jupiter natally, as far as what sign, what house is Jupiter in? Because that's not just where you're going to find a lot of abundance and things, of course, but a lot of growth in that area of your chart as well. So just some things to think about there. But let's get into the lunar shenanigans, because on the 27th of February, the moon is going to enter into Pisces pretty early, at least and this is going to be Pacific time. It's going to enter at about 12:47 a.m. And we'll get into the new moon that's going to happen a little bit later today. But when we're talking about just like Pisces is the mutable water sign ruled by Jupiter, like I was saying, and they are receptive in nature. And there is this, Pisces has this ability, and again, I'm speaking in general, of being able to sense the things that are moving around us. And with Jupiter as their traditional rulers, they can sense it in a really big way. I think that there is this clear access. Even when you think about the glyph of Pisces, it's this gate just open. The connection. It's not like where Gemini, there's like this bridge and there's sort of like these caps on them. With Pisces, everything is just kind of free flowing there. So I find that allows Pisces to tap into a lot of creativity. It'll tap into that sort of dream type of space. They really have that deep connection with source and the energies that are around them. Pisces, being one of the water signs, can sense the emotions of others and really help move people through those emotions too. But like with all water signs, you have to be aware of when you're doing those sort of energy transfers and picking those things up. You have to make sure to cleanse your energies after that. Otherwise, that stuff ends up storing and making the fish swim all kinds of crazy. So that's just a thing to pay attention to there. And I think that the moon does particularly well in Pisces. It's not like with Scorpio where she finds her fall. It's like a happy medium where she's really at home in Cancer, of course, but this is sort of like a nice break in the zodiac. The moon can just kind of dream a little bit. So those are just some things. I think that a moon in Pisces is a great time for doing any kind of meditation, maybe doing some reading or watching some sort of like fantasy, something that gets you in a creative space, maybe staring out at the clouds, going by some water. Things along those lines, I think, can be a very wonderful way of working. Listen to some nice music. Can be some ways of working with Pisces. Dancing, I think, could be another really nice one. Painting, things like that. Just to let your inner artist just kind of go wild there. Now, when we talk about the new moon, let's go ahead and get into that and talk about this Pisces party that's getting ready to happen, because I got a whole chart for you here as we do at that new moon time. But let's see if I can circle all of this without, well, no, we're just going to have to circle everybody. Well, the new moon is going to be happening at a little bit later on the same day at about 4:45 p.m. And it's going to be happening at 9 degrees and 40 minutes here. You see the sun and the moon are all snuggled up. And if you have any points or placements around this 9 degrees of Pisces, or if you have any points around, let's say, between like 8, I'd say between like 8 and maybe 10 of Gemini, Sagittarius, Virgo. This one may be working with you a bit more closely, so pay attention to what themes may be coming up for you, where this maybe squares or oppositions might be happening, or even conjunctions if you have Pisces placements. But the new moon is the seeding process. This is not really getting started on anything. This is just allowing the moon to receive the light of the sun. They're in that conjunction because the conjunctions are when the planets' energies are fusing together. So the moon is collecting information from the sun to disseminate to us over the lunar cycle, from when she goes from the waxing phase to the first quarter to the full moon. That's when we're really getting a lot of the downloads. But this is just the time to just go quiet. To see what inspirations are coming up for you, what themes are revealing themselves, what doors are opening for you with this new moon here. What is moving you through this time? And this is one, again, a very receptive one, because this is happening in Pisces. And I think that there is even an opportunity here to get some real progress here with some discipline, being that Saturn's here. We had a lot of responsibility in the theme of this house, so this is an important one. Mercury would have just separated from Saturn, is moving to the North Node, which is freshly into this Pisces place. What are we doing with these Pisces energies? And not just maybe even this portion of your chart, but if you want to think a little bit broader with that, just how do we understand Pisces energy? Because we all have that level of compassion and empathy that Pisces can tap into, even if you don't have planets there. Whenever we're going through these planets are in these signs, this is giving us the experience of that without having to have those placements, but they affect us in very different ways. So it's like, how do you connect with the themes of Pisces, that in more intuitive side of you, that more emotional side of you, the more sensitive side, and not just sensitive that you know everything hurts your feelings, but no, just like what you're picking up, like, oh, maybe this anger that I'm feeling isn't mine. Maybe this is something that I was picking up from my brother, or maybe from my coworkers, or maybe there is something that I've been ignoring down. How do I move through that? How do I work through that? How do I find some healthy ways to grow through this? What are these feelings trying to tell me? So, and you know, the kind of nice thing too, Mars just, he's going direct. We love that. Moving along. But Venus, she's going to be going retrograde soon. And this is going to be looking at what we've been attracting, where we've been moving, and where we can kind of claim more harmony in our worlds here. And I think I'm going to go ahead. I think that's all I want to talk about there, and go ahead and switch over. But yeah, this is an interesting one. I think that this is a time to really imagine bigger for yourself, to push past what you think your limitations are. You can achieve more than you give yourself credit for. And partly why I say that is we're going to talk about the Sabian symbol for this new moon, which is phase 340 of Pisces. And this talks about an aviator pursues his journey flying through ground obscuring clouds. And that's a really cool one. I figured they kind of Pisces. And you know, it makes you think about the sky as a sea, in a sense, you know, the sea of the firmament in a way. And the keynote for this is man's ability to develop powers and skills which, by transcending natural limitations, allow him to operate in mental spiritual realms. And that's very Pisces. This is a time to maybe do some astral projection. Do something where you're connecting with those higher forces, transcending, staying grounded in this, but allowing your head to go in the clouds, to go in the imagination, to go into that place of inspiration. What ideas do you have right now? Does it seem kind of wild, and how am I going to do it? Like, really think about that and pay attention to what you pull down to. This is a great time to be paying attention to like your dream cycle. I think especially while we're under all this Pisces energy, I think it's a great time to even look into like maybe dream interpreters, or even keeping like a journal or something along those lines. But be thinking bigger for yourself. You know, this is not a time to keep yourself in a box. This is a time where magic is running rampant. there's a lot to work with here, and transcendence, where it may look differently on everybody, it is possible for everybody, but it's got to be something that you choose. Spirit can only meet you so far. You have to complete that connection there, and however you connect with the source, whatever that relationship look like, there's no wrong way of doing it, as long as I think that it's something that's true to you, you know, that just really kind of speaks to you there. So lot to consider there with this new moon. And if this is something where you want to get a little more guidance on this, see what upcoming transits have available for you. I'm really excited for not just, I have Leo rising, but I'm excited for all Leo risings, for what's getting ready to go on in these Aries themes of our chart. Neptune entering in it. Oof. I'm talking about whole sign here. But this is an exciting time for a lot of, for all of us here. And so if you want to see what's coming up for you, how you can work with these energies, maybe you start rearranging life differently. You know, down in the description box below is a link to get in touch with me, where we can schedule, or we can talk about the different services that I provide, and go from there. And then we're just growing together. It's a great old time. But all right, but I think that's all I got for you there. So last couple things here. These readings that I do, they're not gender specific readings, so apply these energies to people as they make sense for your situations. And I guess before I ring the bell, let me explain to you what's getting ready to happen next, because I am switching up how I'm doing things a little bit. Normally, this would be where I switch to the tarot card, and we'd have like a card for your general energy of the day. But in the spirit of Pisces, and I've been getting kind of some intuitive nudges, I'm going to be introducing some I Ching into the mix here. So the I Ching message is going to be your general energy of the day, the advice that comes from the oracle, and then we're going to talk about some lines as a focus. We'll get some tarot to kind of clarify certain themes and how they may apply to this situation here. We'll get a surprise card at the end, and then the rest will kind of continue as normal. But it's been something that I've been studying here for a while. It's been something that I've been really incorporating in my day-to-day life and even in the helps of others, and it's been getting really kind of positive results here. So hopefully this is something that you like there. I'm thinking I'm going to want to make this just like a regular thing and just kind of show you how that can look, how you can apply these things in a practical way, just kind of every day as you're going through this journey here. But let's go ahead and ring this bell and welcome in Spirit, sharing all these downloads. So adjust your volume if you need to, but let's get into this thing. I'm not sure if I should switch over yet. That's fine. Oh, you know what? Yes, I will switch over. All right, yeah. So from here on out, this may get a little. This haven't worked out the kinks yet, so hang with me. So, the hexagram that you got that I received that I did a divination before this. I have a whole ritual that I do before I call on spirit here. But the hexagram that you receive for your general energy of the day is hexagram 22, which translates to luminosity. I'm still learning the pronunciation of the Chinese. A lot of it, thankfully, I took Japanese in high school and in college, so I recognize a lot of the kanji, but the pronunciation is a beast. So that's gonna give me a little bit of that. But I do have that included at the, I could have included a drawing here. Give me one moment. Let's see, I'll do that later. But as you can see, it's pronounced maybe B. We're going to say B for right now. But the hexagram here, and if you want to look further into this, if you happen to know some about the I Ching, the changing line that was there was for line 5. So if that's something that you want to look into, check that out. But the hexagram is the thing on the left there that has the solid line and the broken lines, and I'm going to find a better way to break up those lines there later. But this hexagram is mountain over fire. And so the oracle reads for this hexagram luminosity is, your public image now suffices for the small undertakings, but the large undertakings will exceed your beauty and grace. A personal journey will strengthen your luminosity. Strive to burn brighter, but through little steps, day by day, and not by reckless compromises of yourself. To amplify your luminosity, seek advanced development of your talents and skills. It is a time for acquiring knowledge and experience. Knowledge is your beauty. Experience is your grace. Be luminous. And I love this as a start off to this lunar cycle. What does the luminous you look like? And I don't think of this as, because I think what can maybe happen sometimes in Pisces is that we have this dream version of this, of it's so grand and so vivid. How can we actually accomplish that? And I think that this oracle gets where it talks about the little steps, little day by day, not to do too much, but okay, what does this enhanced version of me, what do I think they're doing every day to be this luminous? How do they walk in their grace? What are some talents and skills that you have that you can accentuate more? Because everyone's got a gift. Everyone's got something, and it could be play. You could think that it could be playing guitar, for example. And you're just like, everybody plays the guitar. Well, not everyone will play the guitar like you, and that's a promise. That's a fact, because no one can express the universe the way that you do. Only you have the connection that you do to source. And that's what this Pisces energy happening on this Jupiter day. I think there's something very special about this, something very auspicious that can happen. Strive to burn brighter. This is the time where I think we're getting the image, and let that, in the heat that you're building up, is when we get into that Aries energy next. This is the time to get inspired, to be receptive right now. This would be, I think, a great time if you're wanting to make more sort of public moves, and start there by maybe maybe you're creating a group, maybe you're starting a channel, maybe you're hosting some sort of rally or something along those lines. Like, I think that there's a time to start getting those things, especially for some sort of like public spotlight. I think there would be a good time for explaining that too, and getting more experience. I think that it's not just about being beautiful, that knowledge part of it, but it is gaining the experience, that grace, because knowledge just by itself doesn't do anything. Beauty by itself doesn't do anything. It's when you're able to carry that beauty with some grace. That's what really makes that thing shine, when you're able to put your knowledge into something applicable. Maybe take a language class. So, just some things to think about there. Now, I am going to do this a little bit differently here. We're going to go to line 5, because that's the changing line. That little X on that 5th line there's from bottom to top. And we're going to go over the line there. That's going to give some practical advice to think about with all of this. And then I'm going to pull some tarot on this for each line, and each of them are going to cover different themes, and we'll get a clarifier for that 5th card. So that's how I'm roughly, just so you get an idea of what the actual F is happening. What's this guy doing? He's just on some magic trip. But let's talk about the 5th line of this hexagram. All the hexagrams have 6 lines to them. And the 5th line talks about a garden of beauty and bliss, adorned elegantly, music from a lute, but less and less of that precious silk. To preserve, be more prudent. A knotted cord, limits. Show restraint, an auspicious outcome. And so, one thing that I think that there's talking here is a sense of frugality here. And I don't think that it's necessarily not enjoying the luxuries of life, but maybe doing them on a more in a more prudent type of way. Maybe this is, instead of going out every day, maybe you're making a point to cook at home and inviting people over, having them bring a dish that they like, maybe bring some wine that they like, whatever that looks like, having more of a personal setting as opposed to going out there. I mean, depending on where you're at, it's winter out right now. See, the weather's kind of meh. This is going to be a great time to kind of cuddle up, be in a warm sort of place there, and enjoying beauty in a different type of way there. Maybe have some music on in the background there, or someone brings over a little radio, whatever that looks like there. But I think that there is, and this just generally talks about, even though things are going well, things can turn at a dime, just like there's been a lot of changes that are going on in general. So there may be some economic things that could potentially come up. So it's just like, how are we preparing for not want, it's like, it's a way of working smarter with the resources. This could be like, instead of going to the spa for a while, maybe you're just maybe making your own type of spa day, or something along those lines. But I do think that overall, like, even though there may be a moment maybe during this lunar cycle where we're kind of setting limits and things, and maybe needing to be a little bit more mindful, show a little more restraint, that things will be, at the end, it talks about an auspicious outcome. So either way, things will move along regardless. But I do think that I would be mindful of just like any sort of lavish spending at this time. Make sure that you got things in order, that you haven't been ignoring any sort of like responsibilities. Saturn is in this Pisces party while we're talking about that. But there's also here a little mention about, just a little sidebar here, if there is any sort of, if you want to bring any sort of like advancement in like social status and expansion. I love this book, by the way. This is if you're wanting to learn about the I Ching and getting just a starter into this is and I have a link for this down in the description box. I Ching, The Oracles by Benabel Wen. Fantastic. But there is a talk here, mentions a little feng shui here about the mountain hexagram of this, talking about the northeast sector of the home where the key cultivates like knowledge and education is generalized. So beautifying and harmonizing that area of the home could affect your advancement of like social status and expansion of social influence if that's something that resonates with you there. So just some very general things to just kind of think about there. But let's go ahead. Let me adjust this here and switch over. So I'm gonna keep my book over here. And now let's go ahead and get into some of this tarot here. So yeah, like I said, I'm gonna pull 6 cards here, and they're just gonna cover some general themes, and we'll just kind of go over, talk about them as they come up. But the first card here is going to determine, we're gonna talk about short-term money matters. Interesting. Okay. So you got the 3 of Swords for that. And I think even if we're talking about money matters, you know, the 3 of Swords can be a card of sadness. Maybe we're at a place where we can't go out. Maybe we have people who are booking vacations. Maybe they're going on these things. You've seen them not having to be as maybe tight with the coin purse as you do. But I don't think that that's something where you should let that diminish your shine. I think that if you have been feeling low, there are ways of enjoying life, again, that don't have to be maybe so extravagant. This could be like, you can still, you know, go out, get yourself a manicure, pedicure, treat yourself. Maybe this is like doing, again, like some at home sort of care days. This could be just cleaning up the house, just doing up some things, getting up on some responsibilities and stuff like that. You know, this is maybe a little bit of a grind. This is one of Saturn's cards, interestingly enough, but that work is going to balance out, and things like, because maybe you happen to own your own business possibly here. Maybe the contracts have been coming in short there. Maybe there's been a shortage and maybe there's been like a slowdown maybe at your work, and maybe there haven't been maybe that many hours available for you there. I think that this could be a time to maybe even look for some other alternative means as well. They're kind of like, okay, yeah, this situation is not ideal. I'm gonna have to grit down here, but what else can I do to kind of alleviate? Maybe there could be like selling some things possibly here. Maybe there's some stuff that's taking up some space. So that's just something I think to think about there. Now, the second one deals with more so kind of like medical matters, things along those lines, maybe some health stuff that might be on your brain there. And keep in mind, this isn't medical advice, so always talk with your doctor there first. Oh, interesting. So you got the Ace of Pentacles here. And I think that this could be, when it comes to the kind of medical matters, this could be a new opportunity to try maybe like a new sort of health routine possibly here. Maybe you're investing in a new sort of like supplement plan possibly, or maybe this is, I think that this Ace of Pentacles would be a great, because this is just like potential here. This could be maybe saving up for a retreat. Maybe you have a time where you need to kind of get down to business for a little bit, kind of pinch on some things, but we're saving for something larger with the Ace of Pentacles that could overall improve your health possibly, because the Pentacles can deal with the matters of the body here. You know, so something to think about there. I think just because we're being frugal doesn't mean that we can't set aside for things. You know, it's like the sacrifices for the now for something later is an energy that I think is coming up here, if finances are something that's on the mind there. Now let's get to the next line. We'll talk about legal matters and social affairs. See what's going on in that realm there. Interesting. So you got the Page of Cups here. And I'm getting more so towards like in terms of like socializing. I think that this would be a great time to go out to maybe go to like the movies, maybe go catch yourself a play, maybe go see if there's some sort of like local municipal sort of thing that's going on. Maybe there's a band that's happened to be playing, or maybe there's like an art festival or something along those lines. I think that's coming up here with that Page of Cups. Now, if you're dealing with any sort of like legal matters and things, I would be mindful, I think, of emotions that are coming up here with the Page of Cups. I think the Page of Cups sometimes can be, there could be this naive energy with the Page of Cups. So I'd be aware of maybe people trying to pull your heartstrings or trying to, any sort of like emotional manipulation, I would be aware of. Just if that's something that's resonating, don't necessarily look for it if for something that's not there. But if this is a behavior that someone is prone to, like in Mercury's in Pisces right now, so things can get a little tricky, a little confusing. Just a thing to pay attention to there. I even think with that, there's even could possibly be, maybe if there's been, because we have all this Pisces energy right now, maybe there could be an opportunity for some reconciliation here with the Page of Cups. There can be this idea for your relationship to maybe burn brighter. Even, let's say, if this is like a separation that's going on, that doesn't mean that you don't have to be friends or that things have to be nasty or things along those lines. We're just taking this one step at a time. This is happening to both of us. So why let this thing be something where we go from having loved one another so much to like attacking one another? That could be one way that this could be showing up there. Just like some new emotions and maybe even like appreciation. I think that's something that's coming up with that Page of Cups as well. And that appreciation could even extend to like your social affairs. Maybe if you haven't hung out with friends for a while, just sending them a heartfelt message. That's another thing that's kind of coming up there. Something that can make them feel the little things. It's these little gestures that can equal these kind of big things, I think, that this oracle can that's coming by there. A lot going on there. Let's talk about the fourth one. Oh, that would have been interesting. But the fourth one deals with your romantic matters and marriage. Oh, interesting. So you got the Nine of Swords here. This owl's doing a lot. Look a little spooked. But, all seriousness, if there is a lot of anxiety, maybe a lot of, this Nine of Swords can even be some cruelty there. There's a lot of stress that's going on there. I would definitely even dip back if this is like a marriage, getting to that Page of Cups energy. That this, I would look out for any sort of things, just if there's been any sort of trouble. If there's something where there's been, and this could be maybe even worrying about something that's not even there. I think the Nine of Swords can be very in its head a lot of the time. And maybe this is just needing to have a conversation to free yourself up from this. Maybe you're nervous about something that's not even a thing, but and you know what too? Considering that your medical's kind of tied in with the money matters, I would say just if you can do some things to limit that stress. Maybe this Page of Cups, even in the social affairs, it matters. Maybe need to asking for some type of help or some type of help. Maybe there's even like some legal matters. This could be maybe looking for different programs that can maybe offer some type of assistance if there has been a lot of maybe some short things or some challenges that may have been going on in the financial sector of your chart or just your life in general there. Because that's interesting how that kind of tied in there with the money matters. And this could just be starting a new way of fixing a situation. Maybe you need to work with like a financial advisor here if you've been stressing about, or maybe this is seeking some sort of advice for, again, if we got some kind of relationship thing that's going on, maybe you need to explore some type of whatever that might be looking like for you. Now let's get to this fifth card here. This is talking about more immediately pressing affairs, and we're going to get a clarifier on this one since this was one that had the changing line for it. So let's see what's going on here. Immediately pressing affairs. Oh. Okay. So you have the Queen of Pentacles here. And I would say this energy is, the pressing affair is resources. You know, how can you, maybe we're needing to find a way to make something stretch here with the Queen of Pentacles. But I find with her, it's not focusing on what you don't have, it's focusing on what you do. Because when you do, then you can, it keeps you in that abundant mindset. If I have this available for me, there's got to be more. You know, like in this Queen of Cups, maybe needs to get creative. You know, again, if this is like looking for maybe some kind of financial assistance, then she may need to call on some type of friends, or maybe she knows a friend who can help her, you know, get in touch with something. You know, again, working some sort of networking skills that the Queen of Pentacles can bring there. But let's get a clarifier on this, on the Queen, and see what's going on there. So the Queen of Pentacles is clarified by the Eight of Wands in reverse. And for me, this seems, one, maybe kind of dragging your feet on something. And I don't think it's just from just general procrastination. I think it comes from this nine of swords here. Maybe there's just like the stress has just been spreading all over the place, and it's just like you're putting out maybe multiple fires at once. It feels just like everything's maybe kind of up in the air right now, maybe with this Eight of Wands, and it's just like, crap, like how am I gonna catch any of these? And so that might be something that's going on there. But I think that when we're going back to the hexagram here, the luminosity, this can, even in this kind of turbulence that might be going on, this could be a time for you to shine bright, for you to get into action, to get things moving while you can, while the energy is hot. You know, I think that get in control what you can get in control there, and the rest will fall into place, I'd say, with the immediate affairs. But I do think this is something that maybe you need to move on. Maybe this is maybe talking with a Queen of Pentacles who can provide some sort of resources now. But let's get this last card here, which is going to be the destiny or the karma. And when we talk about karma, this is just talking about just the consequences of actions, you know, whatever that means in this situation. Ooh, and there's Pisces. I love it. So you got the Moon card here, and let's go ahead and switch over. So with this Moon card, with the Pisces, I think right now the destiny's kind of uncertain. Things feel a little in the air right now, not quite sure where we're going, needing to trust. You know, like I think that especially now we're talking in this new moon, there's no light outside right now. It's all darkness. There's only the stars that are guiding us. They're like poles. I'm just thinking like it's like the little holes in the firmament for spirit to kind of peek through there. Like this is a time where you may really have to do some real deep soul searching as far as like what to do next. But I think that this is that with that Eight of Wands on the Queen of Pentacles, this is not a time, I think, to get yourself ready, you know, as far as like whatever moves you may need to make, and again, apply to your situation. Maybe this is getting some clarity on a legal matter, you know, maybe this is a love thing, maybe this is getting clarity on a relationship matter or a romantic matter. Maybe this is thinking about, okay, maybe you got some advice as far as like, hey, we need to do some things for your health, so this is how we're going to make some sort of adjustments here. This is like the game plan. Maybe we're not sure what the new medication is going to do, maybe with that Ace of Pentacles there. But whatever this uncertainty is, know that you will adapt, because Pisces adapts. You know, Pisces is that, again, that mutable water sign, and there's always growth that's coming, that comes on this journey here. Let's get some advice. I'm gonna get some advice from Jupiter, and then we'll wrap this up here. Oh, speaking of a luminous figure, you got the Queen of Wands here. And advice from Big Papa, I think, is to keep going forward, to not let this diminish that inner fire. You know, to keep your dominion over you, you know, like, and keep in that state of control, because where maybe there's some outside things that may feel going out of whack, here we have control over. You know, we can find that inner light and shine it through this fog that maybe the moon is bringing through. The Queen of Wands has this will, this tenacity that she brings. But it's an intuitive time. It's one where she's trusting, got to trust her instincts, and she may be kind of moving. It may feel a little primal at first, and maybe a little uncertain, a little scary, but she's gonna get it figured out. You know, she's just, that's what Queen of Wands does. She's a powerful queen. So, all right. I think that's all I got for you there. So yeah, I hope you like that. That kind of, I think I like that. I think we'll keep this going there. So yeah, be like that. If anything resonated with you, give it a thumbs up and subscribe there if you know somebody who, or share this if you know somebody who can get some nuggets of wisdom from this. And subscribe there, Queen of Wands. Hit that bell button, get notified on all these videos each day. And then I'm going to get your surprise card here. But if you want to know what's going on with the other celestial bodies, down in the description box below is a link for my other channel, Alchemist 8, where I do weekly videos that come out every Mercury day. That's on a Wednesday. And yeah, just talk about how to work with the different transits and things like that. And I also do videos talking about planets in different signs in different houses, and I have them all organized by playlist. So if there's something you want to check out, a placement, give you some things to think about, comment on, definitely check that out. But let's get into your surprise card here. Look at all this moon energy. Told you there's something magical going on here. You got Luna, the Lunar card here. And this talks about that kind of wild magic and that's maybe what this luminosity is. I think there's something too about a needing to really connect with this lunar cycle, connect with this moon. Because there is a change that's getting ready to happen. We're going to be experiencing that first lunar eclipse. And this luminosity, it might even be this, not just luminous by day, but luminous by night, and what that looks like. And maybe shining a light on those aspects that are needing more. It's like of a subtle light is what I'm getting with this, kind of with this Luna card here. Yeah, the word that just comes to mind is a more primal or a more kind of instinctual, intuitive part of you is coming online during this period of time. And it's not something that just has to be during this. This could be during this period. This could be something where you understand the language of it to carry it forward, and then get another resource under your belt with this Queen of Pentacles. You know, because maybe that Queen of Pentacles is not receiving the intuitive messages clearly. You know, and that's where this need for maybe knowledge with that luminosity, they're developing your skills, that connection with source of your one who is naturally intuitive. And we all have some level of intuition, and it's fostering that connection there. But just some things to think about. But I think I'm going to leave that there. So keep eyes on that moon. Stay mindful out there. I was like, what else do we need to do? And I will catch you And then I hope you like this 18th section. Let me know if you like that down in the description box below, because I think that flowed pretty well. But I'll catch you on the next one, Saturn Day.